YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode here on ESGNet as we're back here for NCAA 14 Highland Scotties Team Builder Dynasty, and this is the Scotties Sports Talk episode 42 as we're going to take a quick review here of week 1 of the new season 4 of the Highland Scotties, as they had a great victory there in a close game, 49 to 37 against Nebraska at home. As you take a look at the team stats here, and this was a pretty interesting game as Highland just could not stop the running game of the Cornhuskers. Baker, you'll see his numbers here in just a bit, had a really great game. He had over 150 yards and scored 3 times in the game. That was the toughest thing. Now, of all things, usually we're pretty good. Usually the Coach Steady Bonds' defense is pretty solid when it comes to the running game, stopping the running game, putting really getting a lot of tackle for losses in the games, but and of course also pressure on the quarterback. But that was not the case here today, as we do, like I said, I said in previous episodes and previous videos, we're gonna have a tough time with our run stopping, and of course applying blitzing and stuff like that. And I tried different blitz packages this year. I had some new plays, but for the most part here, yeah, it was a tough game for the defense there. They gave up quite a few points. We've seen them give up points like this before, and of course this is a pretty much new defense. There's only a few players that have played out there, either all the 4 seasons that we've had so far, or played in the last 2 or 3 seasons as a starter now. So that was a real challenge there, and that's something that's going to be, we're going to have to really, it's going to be coming to our attention quite often. But in this game, they didn't really expose us too much. There was a couple of Allen of one of their tight ends there, I can't remember if he's a tight end or a receiver, but he had quite a few yards. He almost got to the century mark there, but he was unable to score. Now take a look at our tight end there, our freshman. There you see 6'3", 235 pounds from Nevada, Iowa, Ramirez. 6 catches, 108 yards, and 2 scores. Jeremy Little, the sophomore red shirt from Goodland, Kansas, 5 catches, 28 yards, 2 touchdowns. And of course, Godfrey from Ohio, he had a score and a few catches himself. So it was a good game there for those guys, especially our 2 freshmen. Rush, on the other hand, he did get player of the game, but he had some blemishes in his game. He had 4 interceptions, which is not like him. Maybe usually we see him with 1 maybe, but for the most part here, it was just a tough game. And talking to him after the game, he said it was just those first game jitters. This is a big game. He knew that there's a lot on the line. The undefeated home streak. They also, just playing against a tough team like Nebraska. They got a huge target on their shoulders, or they're on their backs this year as being national champions. So it was just trying to shake those nerves off, and not to mention just being at home. I think last year we were on the road. I believe the first 2 games. I think we had the first 2 or 3 games we were on the road. I don't think we finally played until like week 4 at home. So it was just a lot of excitement, a lot of going to this game. Of course, College Game Day was there. They were profiling some of the players, especially like Rush and Coach Steady Bonds and the freshmen there that they picked up. So a lot of media. It was pretty of a media circus. But nonetheless, it was just a crazy day for them. And he finally was you see in the game, he finally got to be able to settle down and throw the passes. And Coach Steady Bonds says, hey, just stay within your game, do what you do best, and that's how you'll get how you'll get the W. And that's what they did. But of course, we did have a loss. We lost Perry Alexander. He had a torn pectoral muscle. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks. So this week, week 2, we have a bye week, so that he's going to be a heal up. He is getting, it's nothing serious. As you take a look there, 5 weeks now. About 5 weeks or so now. He'll be back, and we'll see what he can do. Take a look here at the top 25 games from week 1. You guys can take a look and see if your team has done anything here, and we'll show you guys the top 25 here in just a bit. But for the most part here, he's going to be all right. And, of course, we asked him about Matt Davison, his backup, and he was gushing about it. He's like, if I had to go down for whatever reason, Matt would definitely be the perfect guy to step up. There was a little bit of talk, and it was kind of a whisper. We didn't bring it up that much here, but during the offseason, there was a whisper about Davison possibly being the possible number one in the halfback position there. There are a couple plays. There are like a 2 halfback set that Coach Teddy Bonds has been working on with those 2. And since now, Alexander's going to be gone, they're just going to go back to a 1 back set. But eventually they may bring in the 3rd string guy, come in there to play, and they'll see what they can do. As Highland, you see there in the top of the stop, after week 1, they're still number 1 there. UCLA is there. Pretty much the top, top 9 teams that really did not change. Auburn was able to move up 1. Miami? Yeah. Miami was able to move up 1. West Virginia was also able to 1. There's a couple teams that were able to move up a spot. Missouri made a big jump there. They jumped up 3 from 18. They're at 15 now here. And Texas and North Carolina did not move. Ole Miss, they lost a game. They lost by 10 to Missouri. And that dropped them from 18. From 10 to 18 now. There's not too many teams that play in the first week. Pretty much now in the second week, everyone's going to be playing. So we'll see. May not see a huge shakeup after week 2, but everyone pretty much will be playing in week 2, with the exception of a couple teams maybe taking a bye week, early bye week, and of course, like us, that's what we did. BYU did not do so well. They lost their game. Of course, we'll see them later on this season. And of course, they'll be part of the Big 12 coming up next season. But yeah, they had a loss there. They were dropped out. They were the top 25. They were number 25 last week, or going into week 1 now. Outside of that, there you see your top players, or your players of the week. Now your independent players of the week. Mark Collins, 10 tackles, a tackle for loss, and an interception there from him. As for Rush, there you see 24 of 36, 336, 5 touchdowns, and of course 11 carries for 101 yards for the day. So nice day there for him. And like I said, with a little bit of blemish, he was more, talking about during the press conference there about the interceptions. He said a couple of those were just, he just made bad reads, and he thought the guy were there, and found to be he wasn't. So it was just bad reading the defense there. But he says, he's gonna get better at it. He hasn't had too much, playing time, to be honest. He has a couple starts there. He started a couple times there for Flanagan when Flanagan was benched, and of course Flanagan had that family issue last season there, so he played a couple times there. But that's pretty much all really he had, when it comes to playing time there. But he said that wasn't trying to excuse himself from it, but for the most part, he was just trying, a little too much there. And Coach Teddy Bonds and the rest of the offensive coaches and coordinators there just had to kind of just settle him down. And sometimes you have to do that to for your QB. At one point, he did say he was kind of worried that Coach Teddy Bonds was going to pull him for that, throwing that many interceptions there. And Coach Teddy Bonds was like, no. He said, I understand that, as a player and former player himself and stuff like that, it happens. But he's he's young. I mean, he's a redshirt senior, but at the same time, he has not had that much playing experience, and so he's just got to see what he can do out there. So, but he said, at some point, if it happens again, he's on a short leash. He has to pull him off to the side to kind of calm him down. That's what he'll do. Take a look here at some of the games here as you take a look at the week 2 matchups there. Some pretty good matchups for week 2. You got a big game there, Purdue and Notre Dame. Nebraska is of course going to be at home against Wyoming. You got Vanderbilt going to Georgia Tech. What else you got here? You got quite a few FCS schools playing some schools here. And what else you got? Oh, big game there. UTEP going to Texas. They'll be taking on those boys in Austin. Also, you got a big rivalry game there in around the Carolinas. NC State taking on East Carolina. And what else do we have on the docket here? Looks like not too many other big matchups here. We got a few, there's a few there. I know. Oh yeah, there you see Georgia and Oklahoma in the Cowboy Classic there in Arlington. That one's definitely gonna be good. And Michigan State taking on number 1, or I should say 21st ranked Michigan State taking on number 4 Alabama. That is definitely gonna be a game that's gonna have a lot of people's eyes on. Of course, Tennessee and Ole Miss, the SEC matchup there is gonna be really important already early in the season. As we take a look at the top 25, some of the same games you've seen already, but you got some K-State taking on Iowa in Manhattan there. Of course, Texas Tech and Virginia meeting up already, a Big 12 matchup there already early in the season. That should be an interesting one. Of course, like I said, Purdue going on against Notre Dame. And what else do we have here? Some pretty interesting top 25 matchups. That Oklahoma and Georgia, like I said, that one's going to be pretty interesting there to see. And of course, the Michigan State and Alabama. So take a look here at week 2. There you see some of the scores there. And I was during the off week there, they did practice. Talked to Coach Teddy Bonds about what they were practicing on for Kansas, the Jayhawks. And he said that they got a good squad, decent, kind of middle of the road receivers, quarterback that they're really going to kind of focus on trying to put some pressure on, as they wasn't able to put too much pressure on the quarterback there for Nebraska, O'Brien. But that is something he said he's been working on a couple of different blitz packages, some new ones, some more familiar ones that the team guys know. But he did say that this is going to be he has not been in Lawrence for many years. It's been a long time since he's been in Lawrence, and he has said he has some family and some close friends there that he has not seen for quite some time. So he's really interested he's more interested in the game, but he's even equally interested in seeing those friends and family he hasn't seen for too long there. So he is ready, ripping and roaring, ready for that. And but yeah, he says that this is going to be almost like a home game, as they're only an hour and a half away from Highland, so not too they don't have to worry about travels for too long. They don't have to worry about overnight and staying overnight or anything. It's just an hour drive, hour and a half, maybe even 2 hour drive. So they're not too worried about that. As you take a look at the top 25 after week 2, and you see some changes here. Alabama, wow, they lost to Michigan State 28-21. Wow, in overtime. So they get dropped down from 4 to 10. Yes, I'm sure the Scotties are loving that. So they are now 1-1 for the season. Take a look here. Let's see. West Virginia, they lost against Texas Tech 37-17. So they dropped from 12 to 19. LSU, of course, Coach Allen. Coach Alan Lawrence is down there. He is the head coach there at LSU, and he is now 2-0 with that squad there. As you see, some of the teams that dropped out, Missouri has been one of them. But there you see the big game for Highland against Kansas and Memorial Stadium there in Lawrence. Should be a fun one here. Penn State, you see a big matchup there between Penn State and Pittsburgh. That's going to be a good one. Got East Michigan goes to Michigan State. Michigan State coming off that win against Alabama. That is definitely going to be a game that they, coming off that win there, they should be really pumped and excited. I really feel bad for Eastern Michigan. We'll take a look here at the matchups here. Of course, we're the heavy favorite in this one, as you see there. Points per game in our favor. Total offense, passing offense, but they got a pretty good, decent rushing offense even for the first week there for Kansas. So again, rushing, it could be an issue for us, as our front seven's having a really tough time there stopping Baker from last week, and we'll see what we can do against their guy there at Kansas. Take a look here. Look at defense, rushing defense there. Got pretty good rushing defense there too. So, I'm not saying that we have to pass a lot more, but this week this past week, or I should say, first game, 2 weeks ago, I should say, Nebraska really forced us to pass quite a bit there. More so, usually Coach Dave Buns has his quarterbacks maybe throw 30 times in a game. We are close to throwing 40. So, but Garbers is your quarterback, 12 of 24, 140, 15 carries, 99 yards, and a touchdown there from last week. Williams is their top running back for Kansas, 18 carries, 120 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 receptions of 75 yards. And then, of course, Williams is also the top receiver. Again, there you see his numbers from last week. And then you see there's some of the defensive guys there. So, yeah, we're going to definitely have to stop Williams there. We're going to put some pressure on one of their top offensive linemen, or I should say one of their top defensive guys is their left outside linebacker, Drew. There you see his numbers there. Redshirt senior, 6'1", 223 pounds. He is a good guy. He can move the sideline to sideline. And there you see his stats so far from this past season. Take a look there. Pretty decent numbers there. Could be a third round kind of draft pick there. Maybe if he's lucky, maybe a day 2 guy, late second round kind of a guy. But for the most part here, he is definitely going to be a guy that could give us some trouble. Pretty good zone there. And play recognition at the top there for him and for that offense or for that defensive secondary there. But yeah, he is going to be a guy that we'll definitely have to watch for, keep an eye on, close eye on in that game. So yeah, we are playing Kansas, and like I said, they do have a pretty kind of a middle of the road type of quarterback. And at least talking to Coach Dave Bonds during this past week in our little chat session we have, he really stressed that he wants to put pressure on the QB. So, like I said, a lot of different blitz packages. This quarterback's not really known for his speed. Even though he did rush quite a few yards last week against Ohio, he wants to put pressure on. He wants to kind of flush him out there. You see his speed's not the best there, but he does have good acceleration. But he really wants to put pressure on him. There you see he has a pretty good accuracy there, so he's going to be a pocket quarterback there, with a decent power in his numbers there. So like I said, we want to put pressure on him. Maybe try to flush him out so he would run on us, and maybe put a spy out there to kind of meet up with him once we flush him out. Coach Tabon said he really wants to stress the defense. He's been stressing to the defense all week long to put some pressure on the defense, on the quarterback. Also, too, you see Dom Williams, 5'10", 193 pounds, a senior, a true senior there, and you see his numbers this season. He is their top rusher and top receiver so far this season. Like I said, they don't have too many good receivers there, so Williams is going to probably be their key to their offense. The offense is going to run through him and QB, and but not to say we're not going to put any pressure on. We're not going to play bump and run with the and put press the receivers there or anything like that. We are going to put some, but I think for the most part here, Coach Dave Blunt says, more or less of a cover 2 will be the best bet there. Probably a lot more zone, and just try to test his quarterback's arm there and see what he can do. So definitely got a challenge here. Not going to not going to take Kansas lightly. They are 1-0. They could easily knock us off there and really have a nice feather in their cap that they can knock off one, especially the smallest school in that's going to be in the Big 12 there. Especially, as Coach Dave Bond says, these two schools, Kansas and Kansas State, are treated kind of been lately here talking on the latest reports and news and stuff like that, kind of treating pretty much treating us like a bastard child. Let's put it that way. And they wanted to change that. So we'll see what Coach Steady Bonds and the Highland Scotties can do coming up in the next video. That should be coming up here in about a day or two, and we'll see if we can defeat KU. Will be a blowout game. I would like to say so, but you never know. We'll see how things go here. Should be a pretty decent game. I would say we'll probably be up by at least 3 or 4 scores. So, but we'll see how things go here. Most importantly, we got to just have a good defense to come out there and play and put some pressure on that QB. So, but that's it for this episode of the Highland Scotties Sports Talk. Definitely come on back for the Highland Scotties taking on the Kansas Jayhawks in Lawrence in the next episode. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you happen to be new, hit that sub button and also hit that bell notification so you guys can be notified of when this series or any other series here on the channel is uploaded. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Discord for latest news and events on what's going on here on the channel and what's going on in the world of sports gaming. Not to mention, follow us also on Patreon. You guys can be a Patreon for the channel to help us out. And definitely check this out. Got some pretty cool prizes and giveaways, stuff like that you sign up for and stuff like that. But that is it for me, you guys. As always, keep yourselves healthy, and I will see you guys next time.